Okay, sit straight and tall. Feet under the knees, all those things. And then bring the hands down onto the top of the thighs and look straight forward. And as you pause there, release the back waistband down. So there's this sort of flowing of the buttock flesh down, allowing the two buttock bones to be more and more stable on your blankets, your mat. So as you observe that and continue with that effort, find how the frontal body, the abdominal region, has a slight lift, right? When the buttock truly begins to descend, the abdomen will have a slight lift and a slight inward sensation. When you find that, be sure to keep your inner groins soft and relaxed. Then roll the corners of the shoulders back to broaden the chest and bring the palms together. And gently close the eyes. Observe those things again around the buttock bones, the pelvis. Now move the breath into the side body, allowing the shoulders to release and relax more and more as time goes on. Observe the process of moving the awareness, the consciousness inward. And then join me for the sound of Om and continuing with the invocation. Yogena chitasya padena vacham malam sharirasya chavaijakena yopa karuttam pravaram muninam patanjalem pranjaliranatosmi Abahu Purushakaram Shankat Chakrasidarinam Sahasara Shirasam Shwetam Pranamami Patanjalim Hari. Release the head down towards the heart center and surrender there completely. And then bring the head up with the eyes closed. Release the hands down and gently open the eyes. Okay, everybody, so we're going to start lying down. So before we do that, I want you to get a strap and make a loop in your strap, a pretty big loop. You only need one. But let's see, most of you have access to a wall, I believe. So there's two ways to do this. I'll show you. I'd like you to start so that the wall is at the right hand side of you. Now, if you don't have a wall, maybe you have like a sofa there like Natalie has, that'll work fine also. So just let me show you what we're gonna do. It's not a crazy thing. It just requires a little bit of coordination. I'm just gonna move that so it's just out of my way. This is my left leg. It's just because this is the wall and I don't want to turn my back to you first thing. It's not going to be the very first thing we're going to do. We're first just going to work with the legs, right? So you're going to lie back. We're going to hug the left leg in, or the right leg in, pardon me, for Ekapada Padmasana. We'll do that on both sides. But then I'm going to have you go to Supta Padmasana. And this is what I want to show here so you can arrange yourself. And we'll be in Supta Padmasana 1, but then we're going to go to 2. And I want you to have your outer foot against a wall. Now, if you don't have a wall, you can put your outer calf, this region or ankle, against a sofa or a chair or something. Both of those things will work. But you can see, I mean, I could be a little bit further away, but it doesn't matter too much as long as I have that general connection. Of course, you know, of course, this is going to be too close. So you just have to kind of figure that out, be a proper distance away. And we're going to talk about how that pressure of the foot helps this leg and hip. Okay. So that's the story. So set up so that your right shoulder faces a wall. Have the strap nearby. And then just lie on the back with your knees bent for a moment so that you can press into the heel bones so they press down and away from you to create length in the low back. And when you do that, notice what happens. It's very similar to when you were sitting in Swastikasana. The buttock flesh slowly and steadily moves away from the lower back. The abdomen, if you relax it, will release inward or downward in this case towards the spine and slightly upward towards your chest. Just quite naturally due to the low back getting that length, right? Then straighten your left leg against the ground, push the left heel away, and hug the right leg in for Ekapada Padmasana. And of course, relax the jaw and the abdomen. But as you do that, press your left heel away more and more so you feel both sides of the buttock moving towards the left heel. And then maintaining those actions, press the mound of your left big toe away. So it's sort of a sense of spreading then from the mound of the left big toe towards the small mound of the foot. And observe how that transforms that straight leg. So that pressing of the mound of the big toe, that spreading, feel how that helps control the frontal thigh moving down towards the floor. And then change sides. So both legs. Right leg lengthens and you hug your left leg in. And the push of the right heel away lengthens the low back. And hopefully in the same way, relaxes the abdomen. Maintain that, press the mound of the left big toe away, and see if that can give you access to your left frontal thigh, as if it were being pressed, as if I were standing on that left frontal thigh with my foot, taking that thigh downward. And even turning the inner thigh slightly more towards the floor. And then release that. So now both knees bend again. We're going to straighten your right leg in Supta Padmasana 1. But first, extend the left leg out on the floor to straight. Push the heel away and hug your right knee in. Take that strap, double it up so you have handles. And put it around the upper heel bone of your right leg. And straighten the right leg for Supta Padmasana 1. So keep that heel above the hip. Don't try and pull the foot in a whole bunch right now. That's unnecessary. but push the left heel away so the buttock moves away from your low back as evenly as possible. Reach up with the left hand, hold both sides of the strap, and take that, reach up with your right hand, hold both sides of the strap, and take that right leg out to the side until the outer foot touches the wall or the outer leg is resting on a sofa. Keep the heels pushing away. Now, as you press the outer foot into the wall or into the sofa, press out through the mound of your right big toe. And feel how that, in turn, it awakens your outer right hip, but more than that, it helps take the left frontal thigh towards the ground. Both sides of the buttock should come back to the ground. Relax through the abdomen. Breathe wide into the side ribs, shoulders away from your ears. Of course, it should go without saying that the knees are straight, right? That kneecap region should lift. The right arm should be straight. I'm not asking you to put the elbow on the ground today for this, not yet. And then bring that leg back up, Supta Padmasana 1. And then hug the left leg in, or right leg in, pardon me. I've got my sides mixed up because I'm not wanting to turn my back. And then you'll have to go ahead and, come up and turn yourself around so that your left side faces the wall. Your left shoulder faces the wall. Straighten the right leg out on the floor. Push through the heel. Hook your left foot just above the heel bone and come to Supta Padmasana 1. Keep the right heel pushing away so the buttock moves towards that right heel. Breathe. Relax the shoulders, the jaw. Now reach up there with your left hand, hold close to the left foot, and bring that leg over to the wall. And feel how your right hip, it'll have a tendency to want to lift off the ground. So press that outer left foot into the wall, and the right hip starts to come back down. But press the mound of your left big toe away and feel how, the right hip, the right thigh can come back down, but in a more, stable, controlled way. Both knees should remain straight. Then inhale, bring the leg back up, Supta Padmasana 1, and release that leg. And just roll onto your side and come on up. So now, the same thing, it's just we're going to put our feet against the wall. Okay, so, do that thing that you know to do. You're going to lie back and straighten your legs, pushing the heels into the wall in order to lengthen the lower back. Heels, 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 low back long. Keep the left heel against the wall. Hug your right leg in for Ekapada Padmasana. Both buttocks moving towards that left heel at the wall. Then hook your right foot with that strap, straighten the right leg. Keep that left heel bone pushing the wall so both buttocks move away from the back. Reach up, hold both straps with your right hand. Now, this time, bring your right leg out to the side, but go ahead and let your right elbow come down. Notice how initially the left hip wants to lift. Now, as you push down into the right elbow, Press the mound of the right big toe away and feel again how your left hip, left thigh come down. Now, add into that the mound of your left big toe pressing into the wall. And feel how, yes, it changes the pelvis to some degree, but feel how it gives you a greater sense of connectivity to your left leg. Take that left frontal thigh bone down and keep the mound of the right big toe continuing to press away. Now, inhale, bring the leg back up, reach out with your arm again, right arm straight. Now, as you take your right leg out to the right, press the mound of your left big toe into the wall so that you have that stability without needing the elbow to come down. Press the mound of that left big toe and take your left front thigh down, as if my foot were standing on that front thigh, connecting you to the ground. Press the mound of the right big toe away, so also that outer right hip is stable and holds the leg in place. Then inhale, lift the leg back up, Supta Padmasana 1, and release that side. Ouch. Put both feet against the wall again, straighten the legs, heels push the wall, hug the left leg in, right heel pushes the wall, and then you're going to go ahead and strap the left foot. Supta Padmasana 1. Hold the strap with the left hand. Bring the left leg out to the left. The right hip will want to lift. Go ahead, put your elbow down. Push down into the elbow and out in the mound of the left big toe. It's the same stuff you did at the wall. Now your right heel pushes the wall. Now add into that mound of the right big toe. Really press there. Your outer right hip will firm and it'll give you access to take that frontal right thigh down. Staple that leg down as if my foot were there, standing, I want to give you all my weight on your right front thigh. Now, as you maintain that, straighten your left arm. Mound of the right big toe on the wall, mound of the left big toe pressing away, and feel how you can be stable with both sides of the pelvis down. Abdomen deep, low back long, so your chest can be lifted. Breathe. Inhale, bring that left leg back up. Release it. Hug both legs in. Gently, steadily. Breathe into the side body and allow for not only the length in your low back, but the width in your low back. Then go on and turn yourself onto the right-hand side. Face the wall, turn the hands out, and take downward dog. Spread the mounds of the foot, mound of the big toe down, and feel how that gives you access into your frontal thighs. Frontal thighs back as the heels reach down. So when that happens, again, a resulting action should be that the lower abdomen lifts towards the spine, and even slightly there's a sense of lifting towards the chest. And then with your feet hips distance, walk your hands back to your feet. Hold the elbows and keep those legs lifted and strong so that there can be a flow through the side body, all the way from the outer hips and outer waist. Flow the side body downward. Change the crossing of your arms. And then release the arms and inhale, come on up. Turn yourself around, same thing again. This time put your heels against the wall, why not? Let's do downward dog both ways. Press the heels back as you lift your knees up. Spread the mounds of the foot again to help you have a connectivity to the frontal thighs, particularly higher and higher up your frontal thighs. So you can begin to imagine that the frontal groins are being drawn back to the wall. Then walk the feet about halfway forward. Walk the hands about halfway back. Again, soft Uttanasana. Strong, steady legs. Change the crossing of your arms. And then with your inhale, come on up with the head last. So were you guys able to feel those different activities in the legs and the hips there when we were using the wall and not using the wall? So, yeah. All right. So hold on. I lost a person. Oh, there she's back. Okay. Okay. All right. So we're going to take that into our standing poses. We're not doing a ton of standing poses, but some. Okay. And let's see. Set up your mat for triangle pose, for Utthita Trikonasana. So let's see. Also, get a couple bricks and set them up for a triangle. So you're just going to put them on tall. You know, and the thing with this is like a rhythm in your legs. It's quite critical for a lot of things, and it gives a lot of relief in the back. So let's start in Tadasana, and we'll talk about how what we do in standing poses relates to what you just did on the ground. So when you first come to Tadasana, right, take your hands to your waist. We're just going to kind of really go from the beginning. Bend your knees and feel where your thumbs are and how the thumbs are flowing, helping to flow the flesh of the buttock flesh down away from your back waist. Maintain that sensation as you press into the heels and slowly start to straighten your legs. Press into the heels so that you keep that flowing action of the buttock flesh. Down, 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 down. And the legs straighten. And when you do that now, observe. It's a resulting action. You've already flowed the buttock flesh down. Feel how, as a result, your abdomen pulls back and up slightly. It's a resulting action. You do not do that action from your abdomen. You do that action from the buttock going down. Otherwise, that would harden the organs, right? But you don't need to because you've done the buttock. Now, feel the mounds of the big toes and spread to the mounds of the small toes and feel how that takes your top thigh back. And then it's a balancing act. Top thigh back, buttock down. So spread the mounds of the foot and press the heel bones down. And that's when we start talking about spreading the weight evenly in your feet. Yes, the weight should be even, but different parts of the feet affect different things. So that gives you the opportunity to correct. If you know that, your thighs need to go back, well, spread the mounds of the foot and feel how it gets your thigh bones back, which allows the shoulders to roll back and the chest to lift even more completely. Now, by doing those two things together, the tailbone comes in, allowing that abdominal action and allowing that lift from the pubic plate towards the chest. So it's just those things that we're going to work on initially. So with your inhale, jump. Turn the legs to the right for Utthita Trikonasana. So right leg turns out. Good. Now bring the hands to your waist. Now, your right leg is just off there doing its thing. So don't worry about your right leg. Worry about your left leg. Press the left heel bone down and feel how it helps the buttock flesh flow down. Now as well, spread the mound of the left foot from the big toe to the small toe. Feel how it takes your thigh back. Both of those things have to happen simultaneously. And if they do, the buttock is down, you'll feel that resulting action of the low abdomen drawing inward and upward a little bit. The abdomen can deflate, in other words. Now it gets much more complicated when you bring your right hand down. So bring the right hand down onto that tall brick, put the whole palm down, and look forward. So we're putting our body weight on the right, so the weight tries to go on that front foot. So now instead, put the weight in your left heel. Now it's not quite as cut and dry here. Put the weight in the left heel, the buttock will go down towards that heel and the thigh goes back. Spread from the mound of the left big toe to the small toe and feel how it really helps take that thigh back. And with your left hand, feel how you really roll the buttock down. It's almost like a rounding in the back. But as a result, the low back is wide and the abdomen is deep. Take the left arm up. Now stamp that left heel bone down and feel how you can almost get a flow, like a surge from the pubic plate towards the chest. When that happens, bear weight on the right arm and turn the chest to the left. So the abdomen stays deep and passive. But the strength is that back leg. Then inhale, lift from your left arm, come up, turn the feet forward. Now, turn to the second side. Do you guys kind of feel how that puts more power in the pose? Yeah, okay, good. Good. Okay, so turn to the left side. I'm just up here at the camera because I think somebody fell off. Yeah, Kim was not getting good reception this morning. Oh, there she is. Okay, now to the other side. So bring your hands to the waist. Work with the back right leg. So we've already turned, so the body, I'm exaggerating, it does something like that. So push the right heel bone down, feel the buttock go down. Stay with the heel. It'll also help take the thigh back. It puts you in a good position, but spread the mounds of your right foot from big toe to small toe, and it really pins that leg back. Now go on and take the left hand down. Look forward. Quite naturally, the right hip wants to come forward. So instead, bear weight on the right heel and feel how it's that top thigh that goes back. Spread from the mound of the right big toe to the small toe and feel how it should feel almost like it puts a vise on the top of the leg. Now, what's happening that's different from Supta Padangusthasana is it's not this inner right thigh that goes back. In fact, it feels like the flesh flows the outer right thigh back, and that is correct. Go for that. Then the buttock flows down and the tailbone's in. Reach the right arm up and the frontal body can lengthen from pubic plate to chest. Pressing the right heel, lift from the right arm, inhale, come up. Turn the feet forward. And with your exhale, jump, Tadasana. Buttock to the heels, heel bones down, spread the mounds of the foot, and feel how the outer gluteals gather into the midline of the buttock. So it makes the tailbone in. But it requires a lot of work with the legs. And the more you work with that, when the thighs go back, the chest can lift. Now, we're doing that again. Inhale, jump. Turn the legs to the right. Come on in on the right side. Keep your hand up on that high level. Put your left hand on your left hip. Now, again, press the left heel down. And it should feel as though from the center of your front right thigh, from that point, the flesh flows towards the outer thigh, towards the wall behind you. That is proper. Spread even the mounds of the left foot. But now, bear weight in the mound of your right big toe. And the right thigh also turns out. So it feels like the two legs turn out. Mound of the right big toe down, outer right hip in. Take the left arm up and stand more deeply in the two legs. So again, the outer gluteals firm towards the mid buttock. And the chest then can start to turn to the left. Press the left heel. Inhale, lift from your left arm, come up. Turn the feet forward. Change sides. Come on in. Put the right hand on the right waist. Observe how, if you just don't do anything, right, but you just make the shape, your right hip will be quite forward. I'm not working you from your hips. I'm working you from your legs, but the change will happen in the hips, in the pelvis. So press the right heel, even outer heel down. So from the midline of your front thigh, the flesh flows back. And oh, voila, your outer right gluteal firms in towards the midline. Now bear weight into the mound of your left big toe and feel that outer left hip firms in and both outer gluteals firm towards the midline, tailbones in. So then it's like, oh good, green light, tailbones in. You should feel that the abdomen is deep. And you can turn the chest towards the right and lift the right arm up. The more you work the legs, the more relaxed the abdomen should become. And you can create that length from the pubic plate to the chest, turning the chest to the right. And even any little minuscule letting go of the legs, let them go. Notice how the abdomen protrudes forward, you hang in your low back. Engage the legs again and find how you get that length in the frontal spine. Inhale, lift from the right arm, come up. Turn the feet forward. Exhale, jump. So do you guys feel that there that I'm asking you to find in the outer gluteals? Is that apparent? Good. Kim, yes? All right. So good. So we're just going to bring that into Ardha Chandrasana. And, you know, that's where things get a little sticky. Because when you balance, you have to almost give up balance. It's almost like you have to not worry about the balance. What you have to worry about is how you continually adjust the pelvis, buttock down, thighs back, so that you get that lift of the abdomen. Then you will balance, right? So let's go to the right first. So stand in Tadasana. And not only that, it's not even that you'll balance, it's that you'll find a lightness in the body. Let's go to the right. So jump the legs, turn to the right, and take Trikonasana on the right-hand side. Apply all those things as before. So right heel down, mound of the big toe. Feel the outer right thigh flows back, and the tailbone comes in. Observe how the low back is long, but the abdomen is deep and flows slightly upward towards your chest. Now, bring your left hand onto your left hip. I'm doing my right side too, but some of you aren't even facing me, so it doesn't matter. Now, maintaining that back left leg, look down. You don't necessarily need your brick. Some of you might want it, but I would suggest to turn it on the medium height, not that tall height. Bend the right leg, step in, and bring the brick or your fingertips forward on the floor beyond your pinky finger. Now step up onto the right leg, but first and foremost, buttock to the left heel. You can press your right heel down to straighten the leg, but then mound of the right big toe, mound of the left big toe, and feel how the outer gluteals firm to the midline. The more that outer right hip firms beneath you, the more your left flesh of your thigh turns from the middle thigh to the outer thigh. So that in both cases of your legs, right? The outer gluteals firm in. Now press the mound of your left big toe away, Natalie. Press the mound of the big toe away. Yes, and get that lift, that buoyancy in the inner left thigh, allowing the abdomen to flow to the ceiling and the chest to turn more and more. Abdomen soft as you turn. And it's almost as if the contents of the abdomen begin to float upward like a hot air balloon. Natalie in particular, lift your inner left thigh more. Lift. There it's coming. Now you're finding it. Clifford as well. And then go ahead and bend your right leg. Reach way back there with your left foot and set it down. And triangle. Left arm up. Press the left heel. Inhale, lift from that left arm and come to standing. Turn the feet forward. Change sides. Triangle. So once you get to triangle, bring your right hand down on your right waist. Get those actions of the legs. Mound of the right big toe down, left heel down. So that you feel without a doubt, oh yeah, tailbone's in. Then look down, bend the left leg, step in with your right foot. Don't have the brick any higher than the medium height. I really prefer no brick for most people, even very beginners. Now, step onto your left leg and push your right heel away. As soon as it lifts, push it away. As you straighten your left leg, you bring the weight into the mound of the left big toe. Now, as that happens, that outer left hip can firm beneath you, so allow it. Press the mound of your right big toe away. So that right leg's not just a freeloader, but it's a lifter. Inner right thigh lifting to the ceiling as you press the mound of the big toe away. And feel how the contents of the abdomen, like a hot air balloon, are lifted skyward. Turn the chest to the right and breathe. Low back long. And bend the left leg. Reach the right foot way back there behind you. Trikonasana. Inhale, lift from the right arm, come up. Turn the feet forward. And with your exhale, jump. So do you see what I mean about it? Kind of takes the balance out of it because you're held there thanks to how you use your legs. Would you agree? So. Okay. But that's really the truth of it. So I want you to keep kind of looking for that. Let's do that one more time and then we'll move on. Okay. So this time, you know, if you use blocks that last time, let's get rid of them and see if you can do without blocks. Because weirdly, it gets easier without the props because you have a more tactile connection to the ground and to your body. Go on, jump. Turn the legs to the right. Left heel down, mound to the right big toe down. Then come on in, Trikonasana. So as soon as you get there, just like Supta Padmasana, you can go, oh, pretty much assuredly, I need to work with that back leg. So anchor your left heel down. Feel that left thigh sweep back. And then you can go, oh yeah, tailbone's in. Look down. Step onto the right foot. And quite quickly, buttock towards your left heel. Press the mounds of both toes away to get that stability in the tailbone and turn the chest to the left. And when you do that, kind of play around. Lift the left leg and then feel the weight of your inner left heel going down so that the inner left groin goes up. Then bend the right leg, triangle. Left heel down, turning the body towards the ceiling. Press that left heel down to bring yourself up. It should feel like it's nothing to come up then. Turn the feet forward, change sides. Triangle. So it's really leverage. And along with the leverage is it's required that you allow the space in the body. Keep that right heel down, low back long. Look down, and as you're ready, step onto that left foot. Right heel away first, but then mound the left big toe down. Mound the right big toe presses away. Turn the chest to the right and keep working with that right leg. You see how I kind of lift my leg and then I take the inner heel down. It helps get this inner thigh to go up. It helps the flesh of the leg to turn back. And that's why I kind of do that from time to time, because more and more it puts me up on top of my left leg. Then bend the left leg and set your right foot back down again. Both legs straight. Now to come up, push the right heel down and feel how it's almost like you can't help it. You're just going to come right up. Turn the feet forward and with your exhale, jump. Tadasana. This is tremendous for the low back. And the abdomen starts to learn its job. And its job is to follow. But when it follows, then it kind of gives you something great. So look, let's do it just one more time. And regardless of if you're finding the balance is difficult or not, but here's how you can mess around with it. I'm just going to show you with a wall. You know, and if we were all in a yoga studio, I might say use a trestle, but it's really not necessary. So watch, I'm going to use a brick. You can use a brick or not, but the only thing I'm doing, I'm not super close. You see, I'm like maybe a forearm's distance from the wall. I'm just going to come down, but I'm going to put my top hand on a wall because watch my hips. Let me see. I don't know if you can see this. Oh, yeah, you can. So if I put my hand here, it gives me a greater ability to push into that back heel. So just so you know, watch how much the hips change. I'm going to show you my buttock, right? Here's like what I see most people do in triangle. Now watch what I do with my back heel. I'm going to push down and it's going to change my pelvis. You see how it almost looks rounded here? That's correct. Incorrect, very correct. So I want you to be able to find that by facing the wall. You get that correct action. And then you step forward and you get that correct action again by pushing the hand into the wall to get this buttock to go to that heel. And it takes the balance problem just out of the equation. And then you can really focus with the prana and the alignment. Okay. And the weird thing is, gosh, I found this to be true for years as I practiced yoga. You know, and I think it's really just because when you teach somebody yoga, you have to teach them the shape. You can't teach prana at first. You just can't. So people learn the shapes and they think that's it, and it's not. It's just the very, very beginning. So that's why I'm saying this shape of your pelvis and your low back is so different than what we learn initially. Does that make sense? I hope that lands. Yeah. So don't be afraid of really changing the game for your body here, because you have to at some point. That's how prana works. It's not a shape. It's an effort. It's a dual effort to pull that energy up, and it requires quite a bit. So look, just face a wall. You can face a sofa. You can face just about a table, just about anything. Be about a forearm's distance away. Trikonasana to the right. So put your left hand on the wall. Bring your right hand down, either to a brick or to your ankle, whatever you want. But then when you face the wall, push your left hand into the wall as you press your left heel down. And it'll help you move that thigh back more and more and more. Don't be afraid of that. You're going to get an opening on your left side body. It's going to feel like your left lower back is almost rounded. Yes, that's right. Now, as you do that, look straight forward at the wall. Don't look back at your left foot because you'll want to at first. And observe how much the outer gluteals are in play and how much the abdomen is allowed to receive the work. It should feel quite good, but it might feel like a stretch on your left side. Now, we're going to just shift that into Ardha Chandrasana. It's still all the same stuff. So step onto your right foot, bring the right hand forward, and shift that into Ardha Chandrasana. So you bring the weight into the mound of the right big toe. Oh, sorry. The left leg is up. Now, you're facing that wall. Neil, if you can keep from crowding your head like that, you should. So maybe step your foot back a little. Good. Now, everybody, put your left toes on the wall. Touch the wall with your left toes. It's going to be way too far forward. I know, but do it anyhow. Now, push the left toes onto the wall and feel how the buttock, it almost feels like a tuck. It's rolling so far away from you. Relax the abdomen. Feel how the low back is long. Now maintain that and slowly bring your left foot off the wall and press the mound of your left big toe away so that your outer right hip hugs beneath you and your inner right groin becomes spacious. It's like your pubis lifts away from your inner right groin. Think of Supta Padangusthasana and bringing that bottom leg hip to the ground. Correct. Okay, now go ahead and come back to triangle. And come on up to standing. Good. Do you feel anything different with that? Yeah, second side. Second side. So again, be about a forearm's distance away. Don't be too far or you'll have to move that foot too far. That's all. Turn to the left, triangle pose. Right hand will go against the wall. Right heel will press down. You want to still keep from your tailbone to the crown of the head equidistance from the wall. So don't let your head go into the wall. Now you're going to step into your left leg and come up. Put your right toes against the wall and push them into the wall a little bit. But make that same effort to flow the buttock away from your lower back. Kneel. Bring your left hand down further so your right foot can come up further. Yeah, that's better. Now, everybody, feel the weight come into the mound of your left big toe. Do that, Neil. Your hips a little behind your foot. Mound of the big toe. You're going to rock your leg forward. Yeah. Good. Now the buttock is going to that right heel. Now press the right toes so that you feel, listen, before you take the foot off the wall. When you press the toes, feel how the pubic plate lifts away from your inner left groin. Then take that foot off the wall and keep the length of the low back. Yes, that's the way. So that you get that depth in the abdomen and the flow of the abdomen to the chest. Well done. And then go ahead and bend your left leg and come on down. And inhale, come on up. Good. Step or jump, bring the feet back together. Good, that's it. We're not going to do any more of these today, but just look at one quick thing so that you understand the language. I said, hold on, I'm just trying to get myself stable. When you're in the pose this direction, the pubic plate and this inner groin, the pubic plate and this inner, they move away from, this inner groin has to open, this bottom inner groin, in order for me to get the correct position. Is that apparent? You see how now it's closed. Now it's open. So if that is mysterious for you, then your homework is Supta Padangusthasana and starting to look for that in that pose. Okay? So that's all. Because, you know, I should give homework. You should have homework, especially right now. It's important to practice a little bit on your own. Okay, Prasarita Padottanasana. So just come back to Tadasana for a moment. Jump wide. Let's close up this effort on the legs so we're sealed and correct. Yeah, have the bricks if you need them. Bring the hands to the waist. Now, it's easy to put the mounds of the big toes well on the floor, but I want you also to press the outer heels down. Feel how that again gives you that lift in the pelvis. Roll the shoulders back, inhale, lift the chest. And now as you exhale, come on forward, keep those outer heels down. Hands to the ground, side ribs forward. So with the outer heels going down, feel how the inner knees lift up. Walk the hands back. Inhale, and with your exhale, bend the elbows and take the crown of the head down towards the ground or onto the ground. Spread the palms and press the inner hand down to keep the lift of the shoulders away from the ears. So it's the same story here in terms of your tailbone. So when the outer heels are down and the inner ankles, inner knees lift, feel how it brings a depth to the lower abdomen. That's it, and the tailbone is in. Good, everybody. Then straighten the arms, lift the chest. Bring the hands to your waist and inhale. Come all the way up with the head last. Heel toe, step, or jump. Tadasana. Okay. Let's get your chairs out. Get a chair, bring it to a wall. We're going to do a little bit of chair back bend. Let's see. And when you do that, let's have you get 2 bricks and place them at the wall on tall. There's going to be side by side on the tall height. Okay. I'll turn this just a little so you can kind of see me a little better if possible. Yeah, here's what we're going to do. So I'm going to have you work. We're doing chair back bend, but we're doing it a very particular way. This pose is called Viparita Dandasana. So it's inverted staff pose. And we're going to work one leg at a time. And that does something a little bit different. So just watch. If you happen to, maybe I'm a little bit focused on this because we were in the car so long, I came home like, oh, my poor back. So maybe I'm a little focused on low backs, but you know, a lot of people deal with low back stiffness and tightness. So here's how we're going to do. It's regular chair back bend. Buttocks is at the edge. You arc You lie back. Buttock goes to the back of the knees, right? Do this little beginning thing that we oftentimes do to roll the shoulders back, heels down. And you'll bring the hands through and hold the back legs. Upper arms turn out. Now, the work begins from here. Both of my inner heels are going to be down. I'm going to find those bricks. Voila. I put my foot on the wall a little higher. My left foot just has to move because I'm pushing myself away. But then my right heel comes down. First, I push the heel away. Then I press the mound of the right big toe away. And my heel does come away a little bit. But it gives me access to this part of my leg, my top right thigh. You see, if I just push the heel, I don't have access. But mound of the big toe away not only takes that top thigh down, but it rolls the inner groin down. So we're going to do one leg. We'll switch it. We'll do the other leg. And then we'll come up. Okay? So it's really quite manageable because you have a tall lift here of your legs. It's not so much of, oh, stretch, stretch, stretch. It's more of learn the coordination of how your feet affect your femur bones. Okay? So let's see. Clifford, was that bothering your abdomen on the chair? Is that what it was? Can you remind me? Your shoulders. Okay. Have you tried it with support for your head? Maybe you and I should just have a conversation offline because I don't want you constantly doing what you're doing there. It's okay for now, but it's not exactly what we're working on, but that's okay. But I might be able to give you other ways to work so you're not just always having to do that same thing. But maybe we can have an email talk or something. All right, everybody. So arc and lie back. It's probably better to have just a metal chair. All right, because then you can slide around. So we're going to be moving around a good deal. So you press your hands until you get that bottom shoulder blade off, inner heels down, abdomen soft. Take the hands through the front legs, hold the back legs, and when you do, turn your upper arm bone out. So all the chest gets to lift. Inner heels down, tailbone in. Now, use your right foot. Find out where those bricks are. Put the foot above those bricks onto the wall and push the right heel bone into the wall. You take the heel down to the bricks, push the heel into the wall so the buttock follows. Then press the mound of the right big toe into the wall. Spread from the mound of the big toe to the small toe, but really press the mound of that big toe into the wall. And feel how the outer right gluteal firms towards the midline. Keep your left heel down so the tailbone is in, abdomen soft, and lengthen the frontal spine towards the chest. Breathe. And the legs are more than anything just coordinating. Then put the right foot flat on the floor. Take your left heel up onto the brick. Push the heel to the wall. Inner right heel down. And then mound of your left big toe presses the wall away. Press into the mound of that big toe to small toe and feel how the top left thigh goes down. Inner left thigh goes towards the ground. Press your inner right heel down at the same time. The abdomen goes soft, and then you can lengthen the frontal spine. Then put both feet on the floor. Release your arms, hold the backrest. Get the buttock on a little, so you'll slide towards your head a little. Then with an inhale, press the elbows, inhale, and up you come. Okay? Now watch the second rendition of this. This second one, we're going to have to come up between sides. You'll see why. You're going to bring your right foot up on top. So do that without knocking yourself over, because I almost knocked myself over. But then watch what you do. It's all the same. It's just one leg. So you got that right leg up on top. You lie back. You find your position. Right shoulders are back. Now, from here, I have to think about this outer hip. because it needs to move away from me and towards the wall, and the inner left heel down will help. We'll do that first. Then you'll find the wall, heel against the brick, outer right hip to the wall, left heel into the wall. Then mound that left big toe presses. The tailbone comes in and I can lengthen my frontal spine. Right foot just stays where it is. Then we'll hold on to the backrest. We'll put the left foot down. We'll inhale and come up. And you'll change sides. Okay? So, scooch in well enough. Right leg on top. Good. So get your hips close to that back edge of the chair. Lift the chest. Arc and lie back. Shoulder blades on. Right? Coordinate well. So as you get to the tips of the shoulder blades, inner left heel is down. And you take the hands through the front legs and hold the back legs. Turn the upper arms out and pause. Inner left heel down, so you don't just go sliding off the back of the front of the chair. Coordinate your outer right hip towards the wall as you press the inner left heel down. Breathe. Then maintain the outer right hip, bring your left foot up on the wall and start to straighten your left leg. Left heel on the bricks and left heel pushes the wall. So the buttock is going towards the wall. Then mound of the left big toe presses the wall. An outer right hip towards the wall, mound of the left big toe on the wall so the inner left thigh moves down. Relax the abdomen, tailbone in, lengthen the frontal spine. Then put your left foot on the ground, release your arms, hold the backrest. Push into your elbows and inhale, come on up. And up you are. Right. Now gently change your legs. You might have to come all by the chair, but that's okay. And you scoot in again. You guys with me? Okie doke, good. All right, arc and lie back. Find that edge of your shoulder blades, inner right heel down. Hold the back legs. Now, left outer hip to the wall, inner right heel down. Feel how that already is sort of a containment of the base of the spine. Then right foot up on the wall. You're going to make some distance. Heel on the wall and heel on the bricks. Push the heel away. Outer left hip to the wall. Now, mound of the right big toe presses away. Outer left hip to the wall. Breathe. Feel how the mound of the right big toe pressing the wall takes the right frontal thigh down and inward slightly. Enjoy the space across the frontal spine. Then put the foot on the ground, hold the backrest with your hands. Get the buttock on, and with an inhale, press the elbows and come on up. I'm just coming over here where I can see you a little better. Okay, now you're going to sit on your chair side saddled. So take your right foot out. I'm going to turn so I can see you. But sit on your chair so your right hip faces the backrest. Then right hand onto the backrest, left hand onto the backrest. Press the heels down and forward. Lift the chest and push with the right hand, pull with the left hand, and turn. Move the back left ribs towards the left elbow, breathe. And then release, turn yourself around, Left hip touching the backrest, heels down and a little forward. So that again, right, just as everything, buttock is down, the low abdomen lifts. Hold on to the backrest. Now lift the chest, shoulders back. Push with the left hand, pull with the right hand, elbows wide. Widen your elbows. There we go. Now move the thick back right ribs towards your right elbow. Move from those back ribs. Come on, like my hands there. Push those back ribs and move them. Good. And exhale, release to center. Now you're going to go back to the first side. However, I'm going to alter it on you just a little. So we were sitting this way, right? Here's my right hip. This is the backrest. Except now I'm going to shift my body so that the corner of the chair is between my legs here. And this bar is right at my tailbone sacrum. So I'm kind of almost turning forward. But what it does is it gets a different sort of angle here on this back shoulder. So you got to roll that shoulder back. Heel of the hand pushes the chair. And then I can pull with this left hand. Do that. Get the right hand way back there like that. Then the left hand comes around and it really makes that right shoulder turn out. It really makes this right frontal chest lift up. Turn to the right, hold with your left hand, turn. Turn to the right. Hey, Neil, you're turning left. Turn to the right. Yeah, like that. Roll the right shoulder back and lift the right front chest. Good. Relax the abdomen. Last little bit. Lift the chest. And then release. Woo, good. Change sides. Okay. Now that left hand has to get way back there. It's like a chicken arm. Right hand has to come around. Lift the chest. Push with that left hand. Feel how that makes your left front chest open and you pull with the right hand. So those thick back right ribs are moving for you. Breathe. Good. And then release. Good, everybody. So if that chair can be against a wall, that would be a nice thing right now. Put your hands on the chair. Take Ardha Uttanasana just to get some length in the side body. Palms flat on the chair seat if possible. Good. Walk forward, come up. You can keep that chair seat or chair right there at the wall like that. Let's set up for shoulder stand with your head facing the chair. You should be a good legs distance away from the seat of the chair. So you measure that by sitting on the edge of your mat and going, oh, my feet are right under the center of the chair. That works fine. Set your blankets up from there. Once you're set up, get your bolster or brick or something for your hips and get a strap for your arms. I recommend a bolster because it's softer and just more welcoming for your sacrum and pelvis. Yeah, good. So Neil, you do your thing. While we're doing our adjustments, you could do Baddha Konasana with your legs on the chair, and that's also just as good. Yeah, start with the legs up, but then you'll do Baddha Konasana. And everybody else, as you're ready. If you're not doing inversions today, you can do Supta Baddha Konasana. That's fine. All right. So you're going to come into shoulder stand. through Halasana. So you've got that chair there for Halasana, and I want you to have the chair today. So get your strap on the upper arms, turn the arms out. Feet go onto the chair, arrange yourself for shoulder stand. And then come on up. Once you're up, flex the feet and take your feet hips distance. Push the heels to the ceiling and lift the buttock flesh to the heels. Feel how that lifts your buttock out of the low back. Then bring the mounds of the big toes together and press the mounds of the foot to the ceiling to help lengthen and open the frontal thighs and frontal groins. Now you should feel that, tailbones in as the front thighs press back, similar to Tadasana. Now, walk the hands up your back. Keep your left foot, look where your feet are right now. Keep your left foot in the space where it is right now. Lower your right leg onto the chair seat. Slowly lower that right leg down. Toes press down. Now lift the outer right hip towards your left foot and turn your left thigh from outside in as the mound of the left big toe lifts to the ceiling. Right toes down, outer right hip is lifting, left thigh's turning from outside in, mound of the left big toe to the ceiling, breathe. Then, with your inhale, lift the right leg back up. Shoulder stand. Keep your right leg where it is. Lower the left leg slowly but steadily down. Once it's down, press the left toes, lift the outer left hip up towards your right foot. Really get that lift. Then turn the right thigh from outside in and mound of the right big toe goes to the ceiling. Inhale, lift the leg back up, walk your hands up your back. Again, right leg down. Press the right toes so the outer right hip lifts up. Turn the left thigh from outside in. Feel how the two outer hips help lift you more and more. Lift the right leg back up. Lower the left leg back down. Ekapada, second side. Lift the outer left hip. Turn the right thigh from outside in. Lengthen through the side body. Take both legs back up. Feet together. Now, turn both legs out. So your heels are together, but you kind of look like Charlie Chaplin feet. Now start to separate your legs like Upavista. Roll the buttock bones towards the same side heel bone. And then press the mounds of the big toes away. The feet come a little forward, so it's truly like Upavista. Push the mounds of the big toes away to help lengthen the inner leg. Outer hips remain lifted to the ceiling. Now, Baddha Konasana, heels together. Pull the heels to the tailbone, lift the tailbone to the heels. Feel that lift in your outer hips, keeping the side body long. Then again, shoulder stand. One more time, turn the legs out, go wide, and push the mounds of the big toes away. Baddha Konasana. Shoulder stand. Feet hips distance, push the heels up.
as you bring the big toenails together. So the outer thighs flow forward. Now halasana, toes down, remove your strap, and reach the arms overhead. Just come pick me up. Toes down, so the frontal groins lift and the abdomen can be deep. Then hook your big toes or hook your toenails on the chair so your knees can bend towards the head. You can wrap the arms around the legs for Karnapidasana. Now again, straighten the arms and the legs, look back towards your feet. Press the mounds of your big toes away. So you lower yourself down slowly and steadily with control. And then slide back so the shoulders can rest on the floor. Then breathe. If you're comfortable from there, go ahead and cross the legs in Swastikasana. Lengthen the inner leg to the inner knees and let the legs rest on your bolster. Change the crossing of the legs, same thing. Then turn yourself onto the side, come on up, and open up your mat so that you can lie flat for Shavasana. Make some space. So lay yourself out well so that you maintain all these things, the length in the lower back, the softness in the abdomen. As the shoulders move away from the ears, spread the space across the back body. Ensure that your head is balanced and comfortable where it is so that the chin releases down towards the chest. Use a pillow, use a blanket if necessary to allow the back of the neck to be relaxed and long. And then soften the eyes inward. Release the temples and the jaw. Feel how that inner body is so, that inner world, right, is so attractive and still, and that the senses are drawn towards that inner space. Sometimes you can get that glimpse in Shavasana about how it's almost like that's where the truth is. Not almost, it is. That's where the truth is. Now, all these things external to us, that's Maya. That's the illusion. That's the game. But the truth is within us. And if you really take a moment and look into the Yoga Sutras point us completely at how we observe ourselves, observe our own inner world, observe our own well-being.
It has nothing to do with how we behave in the outside world, in that land of Maya. That is a trap. That's why, as yoga practitioners, right, we're so fortunate to have these, not even glimpses, but real experiences of our inner self. It's funny, when things are in turmoil, it's kind of the last thing we want to do. It's so tempting to get involved in the turmoil. And sometimes the last thing we want to do is get on our mat and take shavasana or go inward. But I promise that's where the peace is. It really is. I've never once done my practice and later said, oh, now I'm more agitated. No, never once. I've never once done my practice and later said, oh, I shouldn't have done that practice. Not once. It is unfailable that it will give you a different perspective. It doesn't mean you always end up in the same place every time. But that's life. You know, every practice, you get something different. That's growth. Just a few more moments there, resting deep within. And bring your hands onto the frontal body. And feel yourself coming back to the physical world. Gently begin to turn yourself onto the right hand side. Press the floor away. Look down to come up. And come on back up. That's all for this morning. Namaskar.